Everybody. It's so good to see you. We're going to take just a couple of minutes to let folks come on in and get settled, and then we're going to get started. And we have a great turnout today. So I'm going to look for you, and I think we'll go ahead and get started. Does that sound great? Great. Well, hi, everybody. People will continue to come in throughout this virtual open house. But I'm going to get us started because we are so excited to be with you and to give you some sense of what we've got planned ahead for Illinois Humanities and our partnership with all of you. I'm Gabrielle Lyon. I'm the Executive Director of Illinois Humanities. I'm coming to you virtually from the South Side of Chicago. And if you're so inclined, let us know where you're at right now, because we have people from all over the state. And together, we have something totally amazing happening, which is a community of people, that's you, with us, coming together to really look ahead at 2023. Illinois Humanities is hosting this open house so that we can kind of, one, share what we've got planned, but two, talk about opportunities for partnership, and three, open it up for some question and answer. So we're going to be going over a lot quickly, and the goal for us is really to get the conversation started. Our program team is here, and you'll see they've got Illinois Humanities after their names if you're trying to figure out who's who. But most of what we're going to be doing today is introductions and getting to know the things you're interested in. One of the things that is really important to Illinois Humanities, though, is story, history, meaning making, and deeper awareness, which is why I'd really actually like to start now by acknowledging that the land in which our main office in Chicago is on is made up of territories and lands of the people of the Potawatomi, the Ojibwe, the Odawa nations, and many other tribes who have called this area home, and where many of you are as well. These nations were forcefully removed from traditional territories, but these lands continue to tell the stories and resilience and tenacity of these nations. And I know that many of you are also involved with carrying those stories forward. So I want to thank you for that and appreciate this moment to acknowledge that. Quick question. You can wave, you can put an emoji in your Hollywood square. How many of you are already familiar with Illinois Humanities? Okay, great. I'm seeing hearts. I'm seeing some stars. This is wonderful. I do want to make sure we're introducing our stuff next. Sorry, ourselves next. Slide, please. Because I want to make sure that you know who we think we are. And the first thing is we're a nonprofit organization, just like many of you. We have a special relationship with the National Endowment for the Humanities. And our focus is very, very much on serving Illinois. We do that by making sure the humanities are available. We activate the humanities to spark reflection, conversation, build community. And more, our focus is really about strengthening our civic engagement with each other. Next slide. And just to give you a quick snapshot of us in action, this slide shows us in the last year. So you can see we're not everywhere in every county of Illinois, but we're in almost all of the 102 counties, either through programs we deliver or programs that we support or enable. And you're going to get to hear about those. Many of you are the partners represented by this extraordinary constellation of dots. But most of all, we're really excited about where we're headed. We're coming into our 50th year. We're ambitious for what we can do, and we're most of all grateful, so grateful for the community of people who are champions in every corner, every small town, every rural community, every metro center, for the people who really believe and know in their hearts that bringing folks together is critical to who we are as a society. And we do that together with you. We do it through the public humanities. And now we're going to get to the core of 2023 in this open house. I'm going to turn this over now to our Director of Teaching and Learning, Rebecca Amato, and she's going to open up our 2023 season.
Thanks, Gabe. Welcome to all of you. I'm in what I like to call the North Side office of Illinois Humanities in Uptown Chicago. I'm going to introduce you to the community norms that we usually use for facilitated dialogues at Illinois Humanities. We use these when we're having a public program, but we also use these in our staff meetings. And I just wanted to share these with you so that you get a sense of how we usually organize meetings. You can use these yourself. You can have us send you copies of this. We love to share. So let me just begin by reading these through. So please, as we go forward in this meeting, create space for multiple truths, celebrate and embrace different perspectives, give and receive feedback respectfully, acknowledge the difference between intention and impact. Things we say may have a negative impact on others, regardless of what we intend. Acknowledge that people are at different places in their understanding and learning, and be open and generous to people learning new things and making mistakes. We love to teach and learn, which is my title, and we hope that you also will join us in learning and teaching us some things. And be specific in naming and using language. For instance, it's important to name anti-Black racism, white privilege, and white supremacy explicitly when they come up. I'm going to tell you a bit about the Department of Teaching and Learning next. I'm excited to tell you about it. Illinois Humanities Teaching and Learning programs bring high-quality educational opportunities to statewide audiences, as well as a learning framework to many of our other Illinois Humanities programs. We have 3 core programs in education, but we also provide learning frameworks to other things like lesson plans and other things being other programs in Illinois Humanities that you'll hear about next. And that includes lesson plans, discussion questions, curricular support, trainings, bibliographies, and other resources. And you'll hear a little bit more about that in a moment. Let's go to the next slide. So first, I'm just going to tell you about the 3 core programs. Actually, I'm going to tell you about 2 of them, and I'm going to have my colleague Meredith tell you about another one. The Odyssey Project, Proyecto Odisea, is based in Chicagoland. It's a free college-accredited humanities program for income-eligible adults who have had limited access to higher education. We have sites for these classes in 5 different locations in Chicago, and one of those sites offers classes in Spanish. Our classes take place over 3 semesters, so our students study a lot of humanities subjects, not all of them, but they include art history, history, literature, philosophy, and critical thinking and writing, and area university instructors are our instructors. Students earn college credit through our program, so they can earn up to 11 credits, and that's from the University of Illinois, Chicago. And just so you know, we will be celebrating 45 graduates in May of 2023. They have all taken hours and hours of classes with us, so it's something really to celebrate. Just so you know, also, Odyssey has been around for 22 years, and we have graduated hundreds of students in that 22-year span. And many of those students continue to work with us. So we have students who are now grantee partners, maybe somebody on this call. We have students who facilitate book groups for us, if you've participated in any of those. We have people on this call who join us as audience members and supporters, and a couple of our graduates have become our colleagues as well. So it's a really exciting program for all of us, a great investment in the humanities. The next thing I'm going to mention is the long overdue book groups, which we have kind of combined with the Big Read. And so this is a perfect example of where our Odyssey alumni go next. Some of them are our book group facilitators in the long overdue book groups. These take place on the north side, south side, and southwest side in Spanish. And then over the last 3 years, we've been lucky enough to be granted money from the NEA and Arts Midwest to offer a big read, which allows us to distribute books and host book groups across the state of Illinois, and also hold events and programs and workshops that actually support the themes that we're exploring together in the books. So this year's theme has been Indigenous Voices. And if you have not already joined us to host a book group or be part of a book group or come to an event, we're going to be sharing, if we have not already, because all I see is lots of red flags that things are going to the chat. We will be sharing links to allow you to join or join or host a book group or join one of our events. And the next 2 are coming up at the end of March and at the beginning of May. And the next one is a writing workshop, just so you know. I'm going to hand this over to my colleague, Meredith Naka, who's going to tell you a bit about the Gwendolyn Brooks Youth Poetry Awards, which is also very exciting.
Hi, so my name is Meredith Naka. I'm the community educator at Illinois Humanities. I work with Becky in teaching and learning. I'm so thrilled to be able to talk about this program. It is a statewide youth poetry competition for any student in Illinois between grades K through 12. Any student age in Illinois is eligible to submit, and we welcome, as many submissions as we can. In 2022, we had a record 445 submissions, and we presented awards to 37 students. In this coming spring, we'll be hosting in-person student poetry workshops around the state in March and April. The 2023 submission deadline is May 5th. So if you know any school-age students who would be interested in submitting, please refer them to us and we're happy to help them. Our award ceremony to celebrate all of these amazing poems will be at the Logan Center on September 9th. So keep an eye out for that.
Excellent. So thank you, Meredith. Our next slide is really just giving you a bunch of links and our contact information, because as Gabe said earlier, this is an I guess it's coming later. Pardon me. This is just an invitation to learn more about us. We have so much going on in teaching and learning, and it's a fertile place to be. So I hope you'll get in touch with us in the future. I'm turning it over, I think, to Fayrouz Abu-Ghazaleh for statewide programs.
Thank you, Becky. Hi, everyone. My name is Fayrouz Abu-Ghazaleh, and I'm the Director of Statewide Programs. We're going to start off with learning more about Museum on Main Street. And so I'm going to turn it over to Matt Meacham.
Thanks, Fayrouz. Thanks for being here, everyone. Hello from our Southwestern Illinois office in Edwardsville, and welcome to the Statewide Program segment. Museum on Main Street, a partnership between the Smithsonian Institution and State Humanities Councils, offers traveling exhibitions on themes in American culture to organizations in small communities. Periodically, the Smithsonian offers Illinois Humanities an exhibition. We invite organizations to apply to host it. We select 6 or 7 of those applicants to host it for several weeks each, resulting in a 9-month statewide tour. With support from us, the host organizations develop locally focused companion exhibitions and public programs. Museum on Main Street gives rural Illinoisans opportunities to view Smithsonian-produced exhibits in their own communities. Just as importantly, it enables the host organizations to enhance their capacities in various ways: skill development, volunteer recruitment, new partnerships and resources, and so on. Our upcoming Museum on Main Street exhibition, Spark Places of Innovation, will tour Illinois from June 2023 to March 2024. It will discuss small towns that have fostered innovation of various kinds and drawn upon it to enhance their economic and cultural vitality. Spark will visit 7 Illinois communities, 5 of which are featured in the exhibition, including Equality, Hillsborough, Chatsworth, Rushville, Durand, Havana, and Marshall. The exhibition is free of charge and everyone is more than welcome. The Country and the City, Common Ground in the Prairie State, addresses issues important to both urban and rural Illinoisans from multiple perspectives, drawing upon the life experiences of Illinois residents and a wide variety of humanities content. The Country and the City has taken various forms, including in-person discussions and video productions available on the Illinois Humanities YouTube channel, such as our People, Places, and Power series and Kaskaskia and the Pursuit of a More Perfect Union. Segments from those videos will form the basis for several in-person discussions later this year, details to be announced. Please welcome our program manager for Envisioning Justice, Tyrese Williams.
Thank you so much, Matt, and hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here. My name is Tyrese Williams, and I'm the program manager for Envisioning Justice. And Envisioning Justice is a program at Illinois Humanities, of course, that's been around since 2017. With the goal of, as it outlines here on the slide, leveraging the arts and humanities to envision alternatives to the enduring injustice of mass incarceration. So Envisioning Justice works with communities and people impacted by mass incarceration to spark conversation and illuminate community-based strategies that address our racist and unjust criminal legal system. So in case you're wondering what all that means, guess what? I am going to tell you. So we do quite a few things within Envisioning Justice. The first thing is we offer grants to organizations and individuals throughout the state of Illinois who are using the arts and humanities to help facilitate conversations about the impacts of mass incarceration, but also to bring people together to collectively imagine solutions that address the injustices of the criminal legal system. So this year, our deadline for Envisioning Justice grants will be July 14th. So stay tuned for the announcement of those opportunities very soon. So in conjunction with our grant making, we also host public programs in partnership with organizations throughout the state of Illinois. So for example, we recently hosted a program here in Chicago in partnership with Chicago Torture Justice Memorials. And that conversation centered around reparations for survivors of police torture here in Chicago. So stay tuned for some announcements of programs that are going to be happening in Carbondale, Galesburg, and Urbana-Champaign this year as well. Not only do we do public programs, we also develop resources, specifically arts and humanities-based resources for folks who are seeking to facilitate conversations about mass incarceration. And as I've said earlier, conversations around how we address those injustices and build more just possibilities. And for example, one of the resources that exists right now that you can go and check out is Envisioning Justice Reaction, which is both a virtual exhibition and an activation kit. I know that doesn't tell you very much, but if you want to learn more about it, you can visit envisioningjustice.org. It's full of a wealth of creativity, and knowledge and inspiration. So I hope you'll engage with it very soon or after this call. And the last thing that I'll mention is we have a resource or a newsletter, called the Envisioning Justice Digest that goes out monthly. So if you want to keep up with Envisioning Justice or some of the activity that's happening with our partner organizations, I invite you to sign up to be a recipient of the digest as well. So that's a wrap for me. Now I'm going to pass it over to Rhodes to tell you a little bit more about our statewide programs.
I think you're muted, Rhodes.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Tyrese, and thank you so much, Matt. I wanted to tell you about two other statewide programs. The first one is the Rhodes Scholars Program, which I think many of you might be familiar with. It is the longest, it's one of the longest running programs at Illinois Humanities. It started in 1997. And in fact, we're celebrating the 25th anniversary this year. So it's a very important and exciting milestone for us. What the program is that we basically invite writers, storytellers, historians, folklorists, musicians, and living history actors, among others, to share their expertise and enthusiasm with people throughout our state. This program enables local nonprofit organizations, including libraries, museums, arts councils, historical societies, civic group, among others, to present free admission cultural programs of high quality to their communities. Last year, our Rhodes Scholars had about 143 presentations across the state. And then if you're interested in learning more about our roster for this year and year, feel free to check out our website where you can learn about the 30 speakers that we have this year. Next, please. Our other program, which is now the newest program that we have at Illinois Humanities, the Foreground Rural Initiative. It's a multi-year project that supports community building through strategic collaborations in rural communities and small towns across the state. The Foreground Rural Initiative strengthens the fabric of our state by amplifying the voices and experiences of rural communities through the arts and the humanities. Illinois Humanities is excited to partner with individuals and organizations in these communities through grant making, capacity building, and co-created programming. We're very grateful and excited that we were able to award $250,000 in grants last fall to 27 organizations and individuals who came from 19 different counties in the state. And we're looking forward to working with our existing partners and expanding our network as we continue to support public humanities and connect people and communities together. And now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Mark Hallett.
Greetings, everyone, and thank you, Ferouz. Great to see so many people who we know and appreciate here in the house today. So my name is Mark Hallett, and I'm Director of Grants Programs at Illinois Humanities. With Joanne Shoes, Erlene Thompson, and Jen Yu, we make up the core grants team at Illinois Humanities. In terms of community grants. You may have seen that in recent years, Illinois Humanities has offered community grants, Envisioning Justice grants, Foreground Rural Initiative grants, CARES Act, and ARP, American Rescue Plan Emergency Relief grants, and more. We're going to give a very brief overview of the community grants program. I'll talk, and then I'll pass the baton over to my colleague, Joanne. Simply put, we are strong believers in the role that community practitioners of the public humanities play in their towns and neighborhoods, and take very seriously our role as a supporter of and collaborator in that work. We strive to live up to our mandate of being truly statewide. So here are the offerings in 2023. And by the way, they're actually outlined further in a blog post that went up, I think, this morning. So there's a lot more detail there. So first of all, Vision and Action grants, which have January 17th and May 15th deadlines this year. Vision grants are for up to $2,000 and are for planning, evaluation, and DEI, or diversity, equity, and inclusiveness related initiatives. Action grants are for as much as $4,000 and are for nonprofits to carry out humanities projects, employ new programming techniques and tools, and to try to engage with new audiences. Nonprofits that are humanities based in their mission are eligible for Vision grants. Any nonprofit can apply for an Action grant. Work must focus on Illinois themes and Illinois audiences. Special consideration is made to smaller nonprofits. In the case of Vision grants, nonprofits with budgets of less than $1 million, applicants do not need to be a 501c3. They can be tax exempt under the state of Illinois. Both allow for groups to request an additional stipend to employ accessibility tools such as the American Sign Language, CART, or say to provide transit or childcare for audience members. They can also request stipends to document, say, photograph their events, the events that they're doing as part of their initiative. So here's the basic timeline. An LOI, or letter of intent, is due at 5 p.m. on the day of the deadline. Approximately 2 to 3 weeks later, we get back to select applicants to invite them to submit a full proposal. In all, the process for these two grants buckets takes between 9 and 10 weeks to determine funding. Next up are Gen Ops grants, meant to provide unrestricted support to humanities organizations. They'll be the focus of the September 2023 grant cycle. In this cycle, we will only have grants of $5,000 each. On our website, we describe the categories of organizations that can qualify for this, i.e. categories that we consider humanities-based organizations. And finally, Activate History microgrants have two deadlines this year, March 1st and September 1st. These microgrants are for as much as $750 and also have a stipend for accessibility and documentation. They're meant for nonprofits and individuals alike to help provide support for community engagement around archives and collections. We take about 1 month to determine funding, so this is a much quicker process with Activate. Next slide. With all of these grants offerings, we strive again to partner with a geographic balance of groups across the state of Illinois, 50% in Cook County, 50% outside of Cook County. Finally, you can see a list of the things that we do not fund. Now I'm going to turn things over to my colleague, Grants Program Manager, Joanne Hsu.
Thank you, Mark. As Mark mentioned, I'm Joanne Hsu, Grants Programs Manager, and we work together as part of the grants team. So on the left side of the slide, you'll see that we help strengthen small cultural organizations. Most of the organizations that we work with are at the community level and are run by one person wearing 6 to 7 hats. That means that that one person is the grant writer, the flyer designer, the steward of collections, the social media administrator, and so on. Some of you may be recognizing yourself in that description. We know that local public humanities leaders have a lot of responsibilities to shoulder and try to provide services to support our grantee partners. Here are 9 of the services we provide, and you'll find those throughout this slide. Part of what we do involves providing numerous capacity building opportunities on topics such as fundraising, how to provide virtual programming, and how to manage and grow a volunteer program. We also produce a monthly spotlight interview with a grantee partner. This is our way to focus on the local leaders who consistently produce great stuff with very little in terms of resources. We produce a bi-monthly e-newsletter. This is a way of getting the word out about the wide variety of wonderful partner events and happenings across the state, as well as about IH and other funding opportunities. We support grantee events with social media, and we produce occasional special reports on the sector, such as a report on the CARES Act from March 2021. After every grant cycle, we convene a virtual meet and greet with new partners so that we can all meet one another. This is part of the work we do in encouraging partnerships. Our executive director, Gabe Lyon, who you saw at the top of this presentation, hosts a monthly series of virtual breakfast dialogues with fellow executive directors. This is part of a program called First Fridays. Many EDs find these sessions helpful because they're able to connect with others facing similar challenges and celebrating similar achievements. We provide different ways of submitting grant applications and final reports as well. For instance, we allow for the option of doing grant applications through interviews, and we also substitute written final reports with interviews. We provide webinars on how to apply for support. To give you a preview of what's ahead, there's an upcoming June 6th webinar on applying for general operating support and a July 25th webinar on applying for Activate History microgrants. Finally, we also provide searches of grants databases for grantee partners who request it. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out. Our emails will hopefully be put in the chat. So I hope this helps. Thanks, and looking forward to your questions. And I will turn it over to Mary now.
Thanks, Joanne. Hi, everyone. This is Mary Daniels. I'm coming to you from a rainy Hyde Park today. I'm the Senior Director of Programs here at Illinois Humanities, and I hope that what you were able to hear during your lunch hour with us has piqued your interest and sparked some curiosity about new programs if you've been with us for a while, or got you interested in a lot of programs if you're a new friend to Illinois Humanities. So we've set aside a little bit of time, 15 minutes for Q&A. So this is a chance for folks to go ahead and ask whatever questions might be on your mind. And just to get us started, we've got a couple that came in the chat. Somebody wants to know if we have information on how you can apply for or join the Rhodes Scholar Program. And so I'm going to pass that one to Fayrouz.
Thank you, Mary. And that's a great question. Basically, host organizations, and I'm thinking that's what the role that you're in, host organizations can book up to 2 Rhodes Scholars per year. And so you can go to the website and see the Rhodes Scholars and decide what would be the best fit for the program that you have. Some of our Rhodes Scholars are already booked for the year. And so they'll have like a star next to their name. And that means that they can't have they can't offer any more presentations this year, but they can the following year. And some are not. So I would encourage you to go to the website, look through the roster and see what's available from you. And then it would walk you through the next steps. And it is free, right? This is the first year where this program is free. In the past, there was a fee, but we removed that. So hopefully that will make it more accessible. Thank you for your question.
Okay, thanks, Fayrouz. And we may be losing Gabe in a couple of minutes. So I want to go to a quick question for Gabe before we lose you. Monica Felix would like to know, how can I join First Fridays?
Hi, Monica, and any other executive directors. You can email Joanne. Her email's in the chat, and she has been great at making sure that us EDs, we have our own joys and burdens, that we get some time together. So please go ahead and email Joanne. And Joanne, thanks for putting your email in the chat for anyone that wants to do First Fridays, which is just once a month in the morning. Bring your own beverage of choice.
Thanks, Gabe. We've got another couple of questions in the chat. Is it possible to apply to more than one grant in a year? And can you apply for the same grant in the following year? And I'm going to pass that over to my colleague, Mark.
Hey, everybody. Great questions. Let's see. Can you apply to more than one? The answer is yes. We do ask people not to apply for more than one grant opportunity in a given cycle, if that makes sense. We're a small organization. We have limited bandwidth. We've had times when it felt like a group might apply for even more than 2 opportunities. And frankly, it just tests our sort of ability to handle the volume. So we ask that you pick really carefully before deciding and go ahead and apply for one bucket. And we, if there's one thing we could stress here, it would be that we try really hard to be accessible. So if you're debating between a vision grant and an action grant, please reach out to Joanne or I and let us know what you're thinking, and we'll do our best to sort of give counsel on what looks like the best sort of opportunity. And Rhoda, thanks for the question about reapplying for, I guess, the same program, kind of a second year, right? And the answer is that yes, you could apply for a program, be funded for the program, and then the next year reapply for that same program. The one thing I would add is sort of a caveat to that is that we the second time we would really want to hear how this moment is different for you. In other words, what are the challenges that you're looking at in 2024 that weren't even on your plate in 2023, or what are you trying to accomplish that's different than last year? So we'd hope to see something that's live for you and that really walks through whatever challenges and ambitions you have at a particular moment. So I hope that's helpful.
Thanks, Mark. Do we have, I think that's our questions in the chat. So this is a time that we're holding for you. If you are able to raise your hand either like this, or put the little hand raised icon up. I'm happy to take questions and spark a little bit of conversation while we're all here together.
Francesca, did you have a question?
No, I'm sorry. I came in late. I apologize.
Oh.
If you don't have specific questions, are there any programs that you'd like to know a little bit more about? This is a terrific time. We've got everyone in the house. We're trapped inside. It's raining out. It's raining out there. So if it's Foreground, which is our newest addition to the family, or Rhodes Scholars, more about grants. Mark and Joanne do such a terrific job of supporting our grantee partners and applicants. Envisioning Justice, powerful program. But if there anything else that you want to learn a little bit more about, just drop it in the chat or raise your hand.
I do see some hands, and I do want to make sure we also get a couple of invitations in before everybody moves along to the next virtual engagement. I think Norris popped.
Norris, yep.
So I have a general question. I haven't had a chance to explore it very much yet, but on the general grant opportunity with the September 15th deadline, what are the kinds of things that qualify or that you look for that grant?
That's a great question, Norris. Thank you. So September 15th is when we'll be looking at general operating or gen op funding, which is unrestricted. We also think of it as sort of mission related funding, meaning that it's not for a specific project. It's really for an organization, and it's up to the organization to decide how to use those funds. So the things that we'll be looking for are basically, this is really only for Illinois-based, tax-exempt, humanities-focused organizations with budgets of $250,000 or less. So on the website, we sort of lay out in some detail what we think of as being humanities-based organizations and what those areas of emphasis are. If you look at that list and you believe that you are a humanities-focused group and somehow don't fit into those categories, reach out to us and make the case, right? The reason that we focused so specifically on smaller organizational operating budgets is that last year we opened up this category to groups with budgets as high as $500,000. And we ended up with 157 applications, of which we could fund 14. And that is, we try to respond to data, right? And so when we saw that we were funding 9% of the applications that came in the door, we were like, well, we've got to do something. Something has to change here so that we're a better fit. And so we decided to narrow down to smaller organizations. So that's a little bit of what we're looking for, Norris. I hope that's helpful. And of course, we're looking for organizations that are actively engaging with their communities, organizations that are learning, if that makes sense, meaning that you carry out programs and you gather feedback and try to do better the next time. Those are things that matter a lot. So that's a little bit. If you want to reach out one-on-one, please do so and we can talk further.
Thanks, Mark. Can we, Francesca, did you have a question?
I do now. Sorry, as soon as I said I don't have a question, I do have a question. Sorry. One of the things that we have a space at Glassner House that is the old hayloft, and we've been wanting to turn it into something. And we think we have funding, but we would like to get a consultant or someone to help us look at all the different aspects that we can open it up to a larger, new generation audience and have it more accessible to people. And I don't know how to get that wording. Is that anything that you guys would have in place, or is there a wording that I could do to search something along those lines?
Well, that's great. If I can jump in, I can take that one. And if someone wants to add, that would be wonderful. Francesca. First of all, I would say that Illinois Humanities does not fund capital campaigns or construction projects, et cetera. So we certainly wouldn't be the place to go for the big money on a renovation, et cetera. However, we do support planning projects.
Yes.
And that the vision grants category. The next deadline is May 15th. And so I think that what you're describing sounds like it might be a candidate for vision funding. And so this was the planning, the evaluation, the DEI related work, etc. The other thing we could do, and we could talk about this offline, is that we're members of Forefront, and Forefront has access to a number of data libraries on grant making. And so if you wanted to work with us to figure out what fields, what search terms you'd like Forefront to do a search on, we could ask them to do that and then share back with you the Excel spreadsheet of grants that touch in one way or another on the area that you're talking about.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to add, I dropped in a couple of things that maybe are already familiar for folks at Glassner, but both Landmarks Illinois, which does do capital and support for restoration. Landmarks Illinois, they give grants, they have a lot of technical assistance. And the other is for folks that are thinking about, big capital projects, trying to figure out contractors, trying to figure out campaigns. IFF, used to be called Illinois Facilities Fund, also has certain kinds of technical assistance and support that you don't necessarily have to pay for as part of what they do. So I'll just put those two things out in case other folks are trying to think about support for facilities. Definitely not our wheelhouse, but we have great partners in the community, and that's two of them.
That's super helpful. Thanks so much for that additional context, Gabe. And I think next, Denise, did you have a question? Your hand is up. Oh, and you may be on. Okay.
Yes, thank you. I was actually going to ask Becky if she would be willing to follow up just a little on what other kinds of supports the teaching and learning department offers. I'm always interested in how much participation and discussion people are finding at events, how civil is the discourse. And I know that's of interest to her as well. And to try to help people who have like content heavy things, find ways to get people to engage and ask questions and talk about what's being presented.
I love that you asked that, Denise. And it's also really nice to see you again. I hope you're still swimming. Separate question, just to answer what you had to say. So yeah, the teaching and learning department's fairly new this year. So while we've had our programs for a long time, we hadn't quite structured ourselves in the sense of providing all of those kinds of supports to other programs, but we've been ramping up. So a couple of things that we've offered are in-house facilitation trainings for other organizations or partners that are doing programs that require a potentially complicated discussion after looking at the materials that this group is producing. We also produced some discussion questions to go along with a program that Country in the City just did. Matt Meacham just did in the fall. There were three discussions that happened, two outside in Chester, one in Chicago, that were facilitated by partners and by ourselves that were supplemented by a bibliography for further research and discussion around some of the content of the program. That's something that we imagine doing more of. As far as civil conversations, and I love that you asked that, we had been offering facilitation trainings and clinics over the past several years. We're taking a pause on that because we're trying to reflect on what it is that we can actually offer our partners that is actionable and that really supports our partners' needs, but is also something that we ourselves can follow through on. And so in terms of civil conversations, so far, it's all been good. As far as I can say, but I do think that that's a skill set that we need to work on and share out a little bit more. There was one last thing I wanted to add, but I won't right now. I appreciate your question.
So Denise and others, watch this space, more to come. We're really excited about the support and new programmings that we're going to be able to offer through teaching and learning as they get their feet under them. I think it's going to be really exciting. And civil conversations, such a powerful space for us to engage in. We're getting close to our time, but I wanted to underscore, there was one question that came in through the chat, Julie, and you had a follow-up to Norris's question that Mark answered in the chat, but I think it's worth just calling out. And your question was that whether organizations are eligible if their operating budget is over $1 million. And Mark, I know you answered it in the chat, but do you want to take just a second to kind of expand on it, just a minute?
Yeah, totally. But yeah, the question was whether or not the general operating grants in September could go to an organization with an operating budget of $1 million or more. They're really, that bucket is really focused on smaller public humanities groups. So the answer would be no. The action grants, which have a next deadline of May 15th, would be a possibility. So if you want to, we could talk offline about that. And I'm also seeing another question. Is it okay if I just jump in?
Yeah, Donna's question about geoheritage and libraries. Mark, is that the one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Donna, thanks for that question from LaSalle Public Library. Just from seeing what you've said, I would say that this sounds like a really intriguing area that you're exploring. And if you'd like to shoot us a note to talk further about your project idea and where you see taking it, etc., and if it's going to come to fruition, or the planning will come to fruition in the next few months, that's something that we should definitely talk about. So if you want to share your email, or I think you have ours, so feel free to reach out and let's talk further.
And Mary, is it okay if I just dovetail?
Yeah, I was going to say, Gabe, we still have you.
Hi, everybody. You know, one of the things that I feel like it's important for us to share is, well, why? You know, why are we taking this general operating support and only giving it to smaller budget organizations? And I just want to explain a little bit about where we're kind of collectively coming from, right? Like, of course, we're all part of nonprofits, so we know there's limited dollars, resources, staffing, energy, right? We get that. One of the things that's happened in the last couple of years is we've learned a lot more about this ecosystem that we're part of, this landscape that we're part of, and what we're really trying to do. And we're doing it thanks to all of these kinds of exchanges and conversations that happen every day. Is really think about, where can Illinois Humanities be our best selves on behalf of a broader community? And so, for example, one of the things we've really learned a lot about is the ways in which certain kinds of communities, certain size organizations, certain locations just have harder access to get support. I think the other thing we're learning is, and this goes back to what Joanne and others have been talking about, Beirut, Tyrese, Matt, we're really trying to bolster the ultimately limited dollars we have with some of this community building so that we can kind of collectively be stronger together. So I just kind of want to acknowledge, like, boy, we wish we had a lot more money. That said, with the dollars we have, we're really trying to be thoughtful and really think about building a robust community, getting folks in connection with each other. And the more we can learn from you, I think the more we want to leverage our unique position and the privilege that we have around access to really be channeling attention, amplifying your work, and really making much more visible our collective selves in this state that so very much needs our history, our culture, our stories, our dialogue, our conversation. So I just wanted to kind of help connect some of these some of these dots, and also, just because I didn't do it at the top, thank my team for just being so totally partner-centered in this mission that we all share, regardless of the title of our organizations. And with that, I really want to say again, thank you. And I actually want to turn it over to our colleague Morven Higgins, because we have some invitations as well that we would love to get on the table and maybe hear some feedback around.
Great, thanks, Gabe. Thanks to everybody for those wonderful questions and for being so engaged and for joining us today. I think you can tell just from what our staff's response is that they really want to hear from everybody and want to help you make the most of the opportunities we have available at Illinois Humanities. So one of the upcoming events and invitations in 2023, in addition to everything else we laid out, that I'm most excited about is our Public Humanities Awards. So this will be on May 17th, 2023, our first in-person Public Humanities Awards since the pandemic. So these awards, or the PHAs as we call them, allow us to celebrate the people who have made an indelible impact on our state through their work in and support of the power of the humanities. The Public Humanities Awards is our largest, most public event of the year, and the funds we raise support critical general operating dollars that make all of the programs that you heard about today possible. It is a fun and fabulous event and a true celebration of the diversity of the humanities in Illinois and the amazing people that make that work possible. You can see our 2022 honorees on the slides. They might even be with us today. Lorenzo Savage from East St. Louis, Terrence Bogans from New York, Gabe, of course, Nicole Bond, a fabulous member of our Odyssey community, and Sue Scott from the Western Illinois Museum. So we're looking forward to announcing very soon our 2023 honorees, which kind of brings us to our next invitation. Next slide. To stay in touch and to share your feedback. So if you could take a couple of moments right now, we're always trying to improve our programming to make sure that we're mindful and responsive of what you all need and want and your thoughts and feedback. So please take a second and complete that survey for us. It would be a big help and should only take a few minutes. So now back to the broader invitation. One way you can learn about the PHA, the Public Humanities Awards, all of the events that you heard about here, all of the grant opportunities, is to join our mailing list. So if you could go to the next slide, thank you. So you can see the link at the bottom there, and we will also include that in the chat. If you have any additional questions about some of the programs you've seen today, feel free to visit our website at illinoishumanities.org. There's a wealth of opportunity. And on that page, on that website, you'll also see the About Us page, and that's where you can find the contact information from anybody who you might not have, grabbed their email from the chat. We truly want to hear from you. We truly want to answer any questions you have. So please reach out, especially if something occurs to you a little bit after our presentation today. We are here 365 days a year to talk about the humanities in Illinois and amplify our work and the great work you guys are all doing. And lastly, I just want to thank everybody again for joining us today. As Gabe said at the beginning, these programs exist and are amplified and created thanks to our amazing community, including many of the folks on this call. So thank you again for spending your lunch hour with us. This event is really an invitation to you to start to be involved with us, to deepen your connections with us. So check out the website, check out our events page, join our mailing list, come to the Public Humanities Awards, email us. We really hope to see you all very soon. So thank you again for joining us today.
This was so fun. Yay. Have a great day, you guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.